The stars were quiet, as they always were, when the Galactic Council convened on their massive space station, high above the center of the galaxy. It was a place where the universe's most powerful species gathered to make decisions about the fate of planets and entire star systems. The Council was made up of beings from across the stars, some towering, others small and nearly invisible, and some who had mastered technologies far beyond anything Earth could imagine. Together, they ruled over the galaxy, deciding which worlds should be protected, which should be left to die, and which should be exploited for resources. One thing the Council never expected was to hear from Earth, a planet they considered far beneath them, a small, insignificant world in a far corner of the galaxy. For centuries, the Council had watched Earth with little interest, ignoring its cries for help when its inhabitants were attacked by alien forces or manipulated for resources. They saw Earth's people as weak, primitive, and unable to stand up to the advanced civilizations of the galaxy. They considered them a nuisance, too stubborn for their own good, but not worth much attention. That was until the message arrived. The Galactic Council was seated in their massive chamber, where walls shimmered with the light of distant stars. The Council members, representatives of dozens of different species, were preparing to discuss minor trade agreements and resolve disputes about borders when a sudden, unexpected transmission interrupted the meeting. It was from Earth, or rather, from someone speaking on behalf of Earth. "Unbelievable," muttered Rylak, a tall reptilian species known for their intelligence and strict adherence to logic. He was one of the oldest members of the Council, with centuries of experience in galactic affairs. How dare they interrupt us with such nonsense? The room fell silent as the transmission was accepted. The image of a human woman appeared on the screen. She was wearing a dark blue suit, her face calm but determined. Her name was Dr. Ilara Vance, and she had been appointed as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Council. The message she brought was unlike anything the Council had ever expected. "My name is Dr. Ilara Vance," she said, her voice clear and strong, "and I speak for the people of Earth. It's time we had a conversation, a real one." The Council members exchanged confused glances. They had never before spoken with a human leader, let alone received an official communication from their planet. What could Earth possibly have to say to them? "Is this some kind of joke?" asked Jin, a member of the Council from the crystalline species. "Humans should be thankful that we've allowed them to exist for so long. Now they dare to speak to us as equals." But Dr. Vance wasn't intimidated. "We are not your playthings," she continued. "We have endured centuries of interference from your forces. Now, Earth demands answers." At first, the Council believed this was some sort of misunderstanding. Surely, they thought, Earth was just a primitive world. How could they dare challenge the mighty Galactic Council? The members of the Council began to debate among themselves, but Dr. Vance held her ground. She knew exactly what she was doing. The time of silence is over. The time of fear is over. You have manipulated us, exploited us, and treated us as if we were less than you. But now things are changing. Dr. Vance's words were like a spark, igniting a fire within the hearts of the Council members. They were used to hearing reports from conquered worlds, begging for mercy or pleading for aid. But no one had ever spoken to them with such confidence, such strength. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Council found themselves questioning their assumptions about Earth. And as Dr. Vance's image faded from the screen, the Council was left in stunned silence. No one had ever dared to stand up to them like this. Earth had always been a simple, forgotten world in the corner of the galaxy. How could it possibly challenge the might of the Council? But Dr. Vance had said one thing that rang true. Things were changing. The balance of power in the galaxy was shifting, and the Council could no longer ignore the small, stubborn world of Earth. As the members of the Galactic Council looked at one another, they knew that the next time they met, Earth's name would be at the center of their discussions. And this time, they would be listening. The Galactic Council was in chaos. The room buzzed with voices, each member speaking over the other, trying to make sense of what they had just heard. Dr. Elara Vance's message had rattled them all. The thought that Earth, a planet they had long dismissed as insignificant, could challenge them, demanding answers, no less, was unthinkable. Raylak, the reptilian member who had long served as the voice of reason in the council, was pacing the floor. His claws clicked against the polished surface as he muttered to himself, This is not possible. Earth has been nothing but a speck in the galaxy's grand design. How could they possibly know the truth? Jin, the crystalline being who had first expressed disbelief at Earth's communication, remained silent for once, deep in thought. His shimmering, translucent body caught the light of distant stars as he considered the implications of Dr. Vance's words. After what felt like hours of heated debate, the council finally agreed on one thing. They needed to hear from Earth. They needed to understand exactly what Dr. Vance meant by her cryptic message. Days passed, and the council arranged a meeting with Earth's representative. Dr. Vance stood in front of the council again, her expression calm but filled with purpose. This time, she had come to reveal the truth, truths that the council had long ignored or hidden from the universe. To understand why we are here today, I must first explain something you've forgotten, or perhaps you never knew. Dr. Vance began. Her voice was steady, but there was a fire in her words. For centuries, Earth has been manipulated by forces you control. We've never been given the chance to grow, to thrive, without interference. The council members exchanged curious looks. What could she possibly mean? Dr. Vance continued, her eyes scanning the room. You see, long ago, before humans even knew the extent of your reach, you decided that Earth was a dangerous world. The people of Earth were too unpredictable, too resilient for your comfort. You saw potential in us, not just potential for development, but for rebellion. So you set your plans in motion. At those words, the room grew still. It was as if every member of the council had been struck by a sudden realization, but they didn't know how to react. For centuries, Dr. Vance said, you've been controlling our history, our growth, our discoveries. Every major leap forward we made was either delayed, suppressed, or even destroyed by your influence. Our greatest minds were manipulated. Our scientists were silenced. You did everything in your power to keep us from realizing our true potential. The word hung in the air, thick with meaning. The council, who had always seen themselves as benevolent rulers of the galaxy, now faced the uncomfortable truth. They had been meddling in Earth's development for reasons they hadn't even fully understood themselves. They had feared the power of humans and their potential to disrupt the balance of the galaxy. Dr. Vance didn't stop there. She revealed that Earth had been targeted by alien forces not once, but multiple times throughout its history. Entire civilizations had been wiped out, their technology looted, their resources taken, all under the guise of peaceful exploration. And Earth's people, despite their primitive technology, had fought back every time. Do you know what it's like? Dr. Vance asked, her voice hardening. To live in a world where you're constantly at war, not with your own kind, but with forces you can't even see. To be pushed to the brink of extinction, only to rise again, stronger, wiser, more determined. The council members were silent now. They had underestimated Earth's people, and they were beginning to realize the true cost of their actions. They had never imagined that a species as primitive as humans could endure such hardship. And yet, Earth's history was filled with stories of survival, of humanity overcoming impossible odds. Dr. Vance paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. For centuries, you thought we were weak. You thought we were nothing more than a fragile species, easily manipulated and controlled. But now you are seeing the result of your interference. We have learned, we have adapted, and we are no longer the same. The council remained in stunned silence, struggling to comprehend the weight of Dr. Vance's words. They had thought they were in control of the galaxy, but Earth had proven them wrong. In their attempt to keep humanity from rising, they had unknowingly helped make them stronger. And now, Dr. Vance said, her voice unwavering. "We have come to claim what is ours. We will no longer stand idly by while you play with our world. The time for submission is over." The members of the Galactic Council knew they were at a crossroads. Earth, once a forgotten world, had risen from the ashes. It had become something far more powerful than they had ever imagined. The question now was, what would the Council do about it? As the Galactic Council sat in stunned silence, the weight of Dr. Vance's words began to settle in. For the first time, they were questioning everything they had ever known about Earth and its people. Could it be true? Could a world that they had long seen as nothing more than a footnote in the galaxy's history really be capable of such resilience? Could humans really have risen above their struggles, developing in ways no one had expected? Dr. Vance noticed the change in the room. The once confident and dismissive attitudes of the council members were now replaced by uncertainty. She had done what she set out to do. She had made them question their assumptions. But she wasn't finished. She had one more truth to reveal. "Do you know what makes humanity truly unique?" she asked, her voice steady, yet full of pride. "It's not just our technology or our ability to adapt. It's our resilience. Earth's people have faced disasters, conflicts, and invasions, but every time, we've fought back. We've rebuilt. We've learned. And we've thrived." The council members listened closely. They had assumed that humans were just like any other species, weak, easy to control, and easily crushed under the weight of the galaxy's power. But now, as they heard Dr. Vance speak, they realized they had misunderstood the very nature of humanity. "Every time we've faced destruction," Dr. Vance continued, "we've come out stronger. Every time an alien force has tried to conquer us, we've found a way to fight back. We don't give up. It's in our nature to keep going, no matter the odds." She paused, letting the words sink in. The members of the council exchanged uneasy glances. They had known of Earth's wars, of the conflicts that had shaped its history, but they had always thought of them as mere distractions, small skirmishes, insignificant on the scale of galactic events. But what they were hearing now was different. Humanity's ability to overcome such struggles was not only impressive, it was terrifying. "You see," Dr. Vance went on, "while your species may have technology, and while you may have vast armies and powerful weapons, humanity has something that you can't replicate. Heart, determination, the will to never back down." She looked each member of the council in the eye. "You can control the stars, you can manipulate entire civilizations, but you can't control the human spirit. We are not just survivors, we are thrivers." The council members, who had prided themselves on their advanced intelligence and superior technologies, began to shift in their seats. They were starting to understand what Dr. Vance was saying. Earth was not just a small, weak world. It was a world with a power that could not be measured by weapons or technology alone. Humanity's true strength was in its people, in the way they could rise above their circumstances and turn defeat into victory. Dr. Vance knew she had to show the council just how deep this resilience ran. "Let me tell you about a time in Earth's history," she said, "when our world was nearly destroyed, not by an alien invasion, but by ourselves. We had wars, famine, and disease. Yet through all of that, humanity found a way to rebuild and grow. We fought to heal our planet, to protect our future, and to ensure that no one was left behind." She continued to tell stories of human perseverance, of leaders and ordinary people who had fought against overwhelming odds to protect their world. She spoke of the courage shown during Earth's darkest hours, how, even when it seemed like all hope was lost, humans managed to find a way to keep going, to keep pushing forward. As she spoke, the council members were no longer just hearing the words, they were beginning to feel them. The stories of human resilience were not just inspiring, they were also a warning. Earth's people had the potential to be more than just survivors of their environment. They had the ability to change the course of history, to rise up and create something greater than even the council could imagine. "You see," Dr. Vance concluded, "we've learned something over the centuries. We've learned that no matter how many times we fall, we always get back up. We have faced the worst, and we've always found a way to overcome it. And now we stand here, not as a weak, primitive world, but as a force to be reckoned with. For the first time, a sense of respect began to replace the skepticism in the room. The council members had always thought of Earth as insignificant, but now, as they listened to Dr. Vance, they realized they had underestimated humanity. They had thought they could control Earth, but they had overlooked the one thing that made humans unique: their unbreakable will. Dr. Vance's words echoed through the chamber as she finished speaking. And that's why we're here today. We've survived your interference, and we've thrived. We've learned from every struggle, and we've grown stronger because of it. Now, we're ready to stand alongside you, but we will not be ruled. We will not be controlled. The council, though still uneasy, knew that Earth had just made a powerful statement. And as the session continued, one thing became clear. Humanity had earned a place at the table, not as a subject to be controlled, but as an equal. The Galactic Council was still reeling from Dr. Vance's speech. It was clear that Earth was no longer the weak, defenseless planet they had once thought, but there was something else they needed to understand. If the Council was to truly grasp what Earth was capable of, they needed to see something that would change their perception completely. Dr. Vance stood tall before the Council, her expression unwavering. You may think that Earth is just a small, underdeveloped world, but that's not the whole picture. We've spent years learning from your technology, adapting it, and improving upon it. The members of the Council exchanged uneasy glances. They had always believed that their technology was far beyond anything Earth could develop. After all, they had watched humanity struggle with their primitive tools for centuries. The idea that Earth could have made significant progress with alien technology seemed impossible. But Dr. Vance was confident. She knew what was coming would change everything. "Let me show you," she said, stepping aside and allowing a large screen to rise behind her. The council members watched as images of Earth's technology flashed across the screen. There were advancements in energy, propulsion, and even defense systems that far surpassed anything the Council had ever expected from a world so primitive. One by one, the Council members leaned forward in their seats, their eyes wide with shock. They watched as a holographic display showed Earth's new energy shields, technologies once thought to be impossible for a world without advanced spacefaring abilities. Earth had not only reverse-engineered alien technology, but had made it their own, improving it in ways the original creators never could have imagined. "We've adapted your energy shields," Dr. Vance explained. "We've made them more efficient, more powerful. Our ships can now withstand the most intense attacks, and our cities are protected from any threats. We didn't just learn how to use your technology. We improved it." The council members were stunned. They had never expected Earth to be capable of such feats. They had assumed that Earth's people were still struggling with basic technology, far from mastering the kinds of systems the Council had developed over centuries. Yet, here they were, showing off tech that rivaled their own. Dr. Vance continued, her voice steady but filled with pride. "And that's not all. We've learned how to manipulate gravity itself. We've developed faster-than-light travel systems. Our artificial intelligence systems are not only capable of thinking faster than any organic mind, but also have a unique moral framework, something your cold, calculated AIs lack." At the mention of AI, the Council's tension grew. They had always relied on highly advanced artificial intelligences to govern their worlds, to maintain order and efficiency. But these AIs were often devoid of empathy, programmed only for logic and cold reason. The idea that humans had developed AI with moral understanding was both fascinating and unsettling. "You see," Dr. Vance continued, "while your AIs may be brilliant, they lack the understanding of what it means to care. Our AI systems are built to consider not just logic, but compassion, empathy, and fairness. They understand what it means to protect life, not just preserve order." The council members exchanged looks of disbelief. They had always prided themselves on their technological superiority, but Earth's advancements were pushing the boundaries of what they thought was possible. Dr. Vance could see that the Council was finally beginning to grasp the extent of humanity's progress. Our AI systems are integrated into every aspect of our lives, from our cities to our space fleets. They work with us, not for us. They help us make decisions that are not just logical, but humane. And this is just the beginning. She paused for a moment, allowing the Council to absorb the information. We've only just begun to explore the possibilities of our technology. We've cracked the code of artificial gravity. We've mastered the ability to bend space and time. And we've created energy sources that would allow us to power entire galaxies. What we've achieved in a few short decades would have taken your species millennia. The silence in the room was deafening. The members of the Galactic Council had always believed that their advanced technologies were the pinnacle of achievement. But now they were being shown that Earth, a world they had dismissed for so long, had surpassed them in ways they couldn't even comprehend. Dr. Vance stepped forward, her voice growing more serious. "We are not here to threaten you. We are not here to conquer the galaxy. We simply want to be treated as equals. We have earned that right. And now we are ready to contribute to the galaxy in ways you never imagined." The Council, still reeling from the information, sat in stunned silence. For centuries, they had considered themselves the masters of the galaxy, the guardians of knowledge and power. But now, they were faced with the reality that Earth had become a force to be reckoned with, a force they could no longer ignore. As Dr. Vance finished her presentation, the Council members knew one thing for certain. Humanity had just changed the balance of power in the galaxy. The silence in the Galactic Council chamber stretched on, thick with uncertainty. The members of the Council, once so confident in their control over the galaxy, were now unsure of their position. Earth, the small, seemingly insignificant planet they had long ignored, had revealed a power that was impossible to overlook. Its technology had surpassed anything they had ever expected, and its people had shown a resilience that made them worthy of respect. Dr. Ilara Vance stood before them, calm but resolute. She had said all that needed to be said. Earth's message was clear. They were no longer the weak, defenseless world the Council had once thought them to be. They were a force in their own right, and they would no longer be ignored or controlled. Now, the Council had to decide what to do about it. Relak, the long-serving reptilian member, was the first to speak. His voice was deep and measured, but there was a hint of uncertainty. "What you've shown us today is beyond anything we could have imagined. Your advancements are impressive, but we still do not know if humanity can be trusted. You are a young species, and your history is filled with conflict. How can we be sure that you will not become a threat to the stability of the galaxy?" Jin, the crystalline being who had remained silent through much of the discussion, finally spoke up. "Rylak is right. Your technology is powerful, yes, but with great power comes great risk. The galaxy has lived in relative peace for millennia. We cannot simply allow any species, no matter how promising, to upset that balance." Dr. Vance listened carefully to their concerns but was not intimidated. "We do not seek to disrupt the peace," she replied, her voice steady. "We want to be part of the galaxy, not as subordinates, but as equals. We want to contribute to the greater good, to work with you, not against you. Humanity has learned from its mistakes, and we understand the importance of cooperation. We are not here to challenge your authority, but to stand beside you." There was a pause as the Council members pondered her words. They had spent centuries maintaining control, keeping the galaxy in order, and they were not easily convinced to change. But Dr. Vance's message had made one thing clear. Earth was no longer the helpless planet they once thought it was. The balance of power had shifted, and the Council could either adapt or face the consequences. After a long silence, it was Rilak who spoke again. "Perhaps we have underestimated humanity," he said slowly. "But how can we trust that you will honor your promises? How can we be sure that you will not use your newfound power to harm others?" Dr. Vance met his gaze. Trust is something that must be earned, Rylak. We understand that. But I assure you, Earth's people do not wish to dominate the galaxy. We want peace. We want collaboration. We want to be a part of something greater than ourselves. And we will prove it. The room was filled with murmurs as the council members deliberated. They had always believed in the superiority of their species, but now they had to face the reality that Earth had not only caught up to them, but was surpassing them in ways they hadn't expected. The question was no longer whether humanity was a threat. It was whether humanity could be trusted to use its power for good. Finally, the silence was broken by Xorl, a member of the council who had remained quiet until now. Xorl was from a peaceful species known for their wisdom and long lifespan. I have watched Earth for many years, Xorl said, their voice soft but filled with authority. I have seen the wars, the conflicts, and the struggles, but I had also seen the kindness, the determination, and the willingness to protect one another. Humanity has shown that it can rise from its darkest times and build something better. Perhaps it is time we allowed you to do so in the larger galaxy. The room fell silent again as the council members processed Xorl's words. It was a bold statement, one that could change the course of galactic history, but it was also a fair one. Earth had earned its place at the table. It was time to stop treating humanity as a child and start recognizing its potential. After a few moments of deep thought, Rylak nodded slowly. We will not ignore Earth any longer, he said. We will extend an offer of cooperation on the condition that Earth proves its commitment to peace and stability. You will be given the chance to join the galaxy's greater efforts, but you must demonstrate that your intentions are genuine. Dr. Vance's face softened with a small but proud smile. We will prove it. We will work with you to ensure that peace is maintained and that the galaxy remains a place where all species can thrive. And just like that, the decision was made. Earth was no longer just a forgotten planet on the edge of the galaxy. It was now an equal member of the galactic community, a force for good, and a partner in the future of the universe. As the meeting came to a close, Dr. Vance turned and left the chamber, her heart filled with a quiet sense of victory. Earth had come a long way. But this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, and humanity had only just begun to explore its place within it. The decision had been made. Earth was now officially a member of the galactic community, standing side by side with the powerful species of the Council. Dr. Ilara Vance had done what many had thought impossible. She had proven that Earth was no longer a weak, isolated world, but a force that could shape the future of the galaxy. But as Earth took its first steps into this new chapter of intergalactic diplomacy, the challenges were only just beginning. Dr. Vance returned to Earth's newly established embassy in the heart of the galactic capital, a shining city that stretched high into the stars. The walls of the embassy were made of materials unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Transparent alloys that shimmered with energy, capable of withstanding even the most intense galactic storms. The building was both a symbol of Earth's place in the galaxy and a reminder of how far the planet had come. Inside, the Earth delegation was gathered. Scientists, diplomats, and leaders from every corner of the planet were now working together, united in their efforts to make humanity's mark on the galaxy. But as they watched the holographic messages from the Council, the weight of their responsibility was clear. We've earned a place at the table, Dr. Vance said, addressing the room. But this is just the beginning. Now we must prove we belong here. We need to demonstrate our value and our commitment to peace and cooperation. One of the delegates, Ambassador Lyra, a leader from Earth's United Nations, spoke up. The Council has agreed to work with us, but there are other species out there who might not be so welcoming. Not everyone will accept Earth's rise so easily. Dr. Vance nodded. I know. The galaxy is vast, and there are many different cultures, some of which might see our sudden growth as a threat. We must be prepared for challenges, both diplomatic and technological. We've earned our place, but we still need to prove that we can be trusted. A new sense of unity filled the room as the Earth delegation began to discuss their next steps. They had to ensure that their newfound status wasn't just an empty title. They had to take action, form alliances, and prepare for the inevitable hurdles that would come with being a part of something much larger than they had ever imagined. Meanwhile, back in the Galactic Council, members were still talking about the decision they had made. While some saw Earth's rise as a positive step, others remained skeptical. "Do you really believe that humanity will keep its promises?" Rylak, the Reptilian Council member, asked during an internal meeting. "They have shown strength, yes, but can they handle the responsibilities that come with it? They are still young compared to the rest of us." Jin, the crystalline being, replied, "It is true that humanity has faced many struggles, and it is also true that their potential is greater than we first realized. But we cannot ignore the risks. We must keep a watchful eye on them." As the council debated, Dr. Vance and her team on Earth began preparations for their first major diplomatic mission beyond their home planet. They would travel to a distant star system to meet with a race of beings known as the Valari, an ancient species known for their intelligence and mysterious ways. The Valari had long been a neutral party in galactic affairs, but their approval could make or break Earth's standing in the galaxy. The journey to the Valari homeworld was long and filled with uncertainty. The Valari were known to be cautious and selective when it came to forming alliances. Earth's technology, though impressive, would not be enough to win their favor. Dr. Vance knew that diplomacy, not just technology, would be the key to success. As the Earth fleet made its way to the Valari system, Dr. Vance took a moment to reflect on how far humanity had come. Just a few decades ago, Earth had been a fractured planet, torn by war and environmental disaster. Now, they were on the cusp of becoming a respected member of a vast intergalactic community. The journey had not been easy, but it had shaped them into something stronger, something capable of achieving great things. Upon reaching the Valari world, Dr. Vance and her team were met with a breathtaking sight. The Valari planet was covered in vast cities built into towering mountains, with glowing rivers of energy running through the landscape. The architecture was unlike anything Earth had seen, elegant, serene, and intricately woven into the natural beauty of the planet. The Valari themselves were even more remarkable. Tall, graceful beings with translucent skin that shimmered in the light, their eyes glowed with a soft, intelligent light. They did not speak in the usual way. Instead, they communicated through a complex system of telepathy, their thoughts filling the air like a soft hum. Dr. Vance could feel their minds probing hers, evaluating her intentions, her sincerity. As she stepped forward to greet the Valari delegation, she knew that this moment would define Earth's future in the galaxy. The Valari would either accept humanity as equals or reject them as a threat. There was no middle ground. "Greetings, Valari," Dr. Vance said, her voice calm but strong. "We come in peace. We seek to join the galactic community, not as conquerors, but as partners. We wish to build relationships based on trust, understanding, and mutual respect." The Valari, silent for a moment, finally responded. The hum of their telepathic voices filled the air, and Dr. Vance held her breath, awaiting their decision. The silence was overwhelming as Dr. Vance waited for the Valari to respond. Their glowing eyes, soft and piercing, seemed to see through her, probing not just her words but her very thoughts. She stood tall, determined, but a sense of uncertainty lingered in her chest. Earth's future, its place in the galaxy, rested on this moment. Would the Valari accept humanity as a partner, or would they dismiss them as another species unworthy of trust? Finally, the hum of their telepathic communication filled the air. It was gentle yet powerful, like a distant melody that wrapped around her mind. "We have heard your message." The Valari voice echoed in her thoughts, a calm and soothing presence. "We have watched your world. We have seen the potential of humanity, not just in your technology, but in your hearts. We understand the struggles you have faced and the lessons you have learned. You seek peace, not power. You wish to share, not dominate." Dr. Vance felt a wave of relief wash over her. The Valari had seen what they hoped for, humanity's true desire for cooperation and growth. It was more than just technology that they respected. It was the spirit of humanity, its ability to rise above conflict and chaos. "We will welcome you, Earth," the Valari continued. "You are not the first to seek a place among us, but you are the first to come not with demands, but with an open hand. Your journey is only beginning, and we will stand beside you. But remember this: the galaxy is vast, and its challenges are great. You must remain vigilant, for peace requires more than technology. It requires wisdom, humility, and unity." Dr. Vance nodded, feeling the weight of their words. "Thank you, Valari. We will prove ourselves worthy of your trust. We will walk this path together, as equals, as partners." The Valari delegation bowed slightly, a sign of respect and acceptance. "Go forward, Earth, and remember that your future is not set by the past, but by the choices you make today. The galaxy awaits you, and you have much to offer." With that, the telepathic communication ended, and the Valari turned away, disappearing into the shimmering glow of their city. Dr. Vance stood there for a moment, absorbing what had just happened. The first step toward intergalactic peace had been taken. Earth had proven that it was no longer the small, fragile world it once was. It was a respected member of the galaxy, capable of great things. As the Earth delegation boarded their ship to return home, the stars seemed to shine brighter. The future that had once seemed uncertain was now full of promise. The Valari had not only accepted them, they had given humanity a chance to be part of something greater, to contribute to the well-being of the entire galaxy. Back on Earth, the news of the Valari decision spread like wildfire. People everywhere, from the bustling cities to the quiet villages, celebrated this new chapter in human history. For the first time in a long while, humanity had something to believe in, a future that wasn't dictated by conflict and struggle, but by hope and collaboration. Dr. Vance returned to Earth, greeted by crowds of people who had followed every step of her journey. She stood before them, humbled by their support, but also filled with pride. She had not done this alone. Humanity had come together, unified by a vision of a better future. And now, that vision was becoming reality. "We have a long road ahead of us," Dr. Vance said to the gathered crowd, her voice steady and filled with hope. "But we will walk it together. Earth is not just a planet in the universe. We are part of something much larger. We have a responsibility to the galaxy, to all the species who have welcomed us, and to ourselves. Let us build a future of peace, understanding, and unity. Together, we can achieve great things." The crowd erupted in applause, their cheers echoing through the streets. Humanity had proven that it was capable of more than just survival. It was capable of growth, of learning from its past, and of forging new paths toward a brighter future. As Dr. Vance looked up at the stars, she felt a sense of wonder and excitement for what lay ahead. The galaxy was vast, and humanity's place within it was only just beginning. But with each step, each new alliance, humanity would prove that it was no longer the forgotten planet at the edge of the galaxy. It was a force for good, ready to make its mark on the universe. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and Earth would be there to shape it.